Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin with breaking news as additional charges have been filed against a former West Fargo school teacher. Cass County authorities confirmed to Valley News Live that the new charges against Shannon Mosier involve 4 more victims. The 37-year-old Mosier remains in the Cass County jail, accused of sharing illicit videos with 2 students and having sex with one of them. Today, the complaint was amended to include 4 counts of luring minors by computers and 1 count of gross sexual imposition relating to one of the 4 additional victims. New information tonight on an Amber Alert case out of Grand Forks. A woman and her mother were charged in Grand Forks District Court today in connection with the alleged kidnapping of an 18-month-old child. 21-year-old Jasmine Davis has been charged with kidnapping, and her mother, 38-year-old Melissa Davis, has been charged with criminal conspiracy and hindering law enforcement. Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz has more on what led up to the Amber Alert being sent out to the public last night.
Grand Forks Lieutenant B.J. Maxson says 21-year-old mother Jasmine Davis didn't know her child was about to be taken from her when she made the split decision to leave social services with her 18-month-old Thursday afternoon.
They explained to mom that we have a temporary custody order. We're now taking custody of the child. And then mom didn't agree with that decision, got up, got the child, and then left the building.
Lieutenant Maxson says Jasmine's mother, Melissa Sue Davis, was waiting in the lobby when Jasmine came out with her child. The lieutenant says it's unclear whether the senior Davis knew about social services custody order when they took off. But how did she get by social services in the first place?
The social worker was between her and the door. However, you have to take into account the welfare of the child. You don't want to get in a fight with mom and whoever else was present.
From there, an Amber Alert was issued nearly 3 hours after social services called law enforcement. Maxson says it's a long process.
Very specific clothing description, any pictures of the suspect or the child, vehicle description, is the child in any grave or imminent danger?
Which, he says, they determined she was. Those social services couldn't tell me why they were taking the child from the mother in the first place.
Due to confidentiality laws and that there's an active criminal investigation, I'm unable to provide the information.
But once officials determined the mother wasn't supposed to have the child, they were at least able to start the process for an Amber Alert. And Maxson says he believes that's what led to an undisclosed family member of Davis's bringing her in, close to 3 hours after the alert issued.
It's good that the family stepped up, because there could be, it could go the other way where they say, we'll just, we'll help her get out of town, or, we'll keep her away from law enforcement.
In Grand Forks, Rose Itzkovitz, Valley News Live.
The 18-month-old child will remain in social services custody pending the child custody hearing. Gray and cloudy out there. Let's go over to Hutch to find out what the chances are of rain in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Hutch?
Well, as we look into Fargo-Moorhead, most of the showers and thunder showers throughout the day have just been to our south and east. We see quite a large area of thunderstorm activity working its way through west central Minnesota. It's moving off to the east. Now, if you are in parts of southwest Minnesota, from Alexandria all the way down towards Watertown, South Dakota, robust and severe storms are in this area. But Otter Tail County, just garden variety showers with locally heavy rain and a few rumbles of thunder. And for those wee-festers out there, most of the rain hanging just to your south. Don't be surprised, though, if you get a rumble of thunder over the next hour or two. It's cool in Lakes Country, but look at Bismarck, 102 degrees there. The sizzle is on the doorstep, and it looks like some of us will heat up for the weekend. But for tonight, I think Fargo stays dry, Grand Forks stays dry. Overnight, though, there'll be a chance for some thunder showers. We'll detail those and talk about that heat that's out in Bismarck and where it's heading for your weekend ahead in a minute.
Okay, thanks, Hutch. The Cass County Sheriff's Department needs your help finding a missing man. They're looking for 60-year-old David Rick Beal of Ham Lake, Minnesota. Rick Beal's car was found abandoned in Cass County on Lake Washburn Road, which is County Road 48 in rural Reamer, Minnesota. If you have any information about Rick Beal, call the Cass County Sheriff's Office at 218-547-1424. A Moorhead police officer is charged with DWI after blowing nearly 4 times the legal limit. Thad Stafford, a 20-year veteran, appeared in court today after being placed on administrative leave after being arrested for drunk driving while off duty. After being pulled over, Stafford was found to have a blood alcohol content of 0.30. Again, that is 4 times over the legal limit. This week's Valley's Most Wanted is 34-year-old Christopher Wilkins Sr. Police say he's wanted in Otter Tail County for felony assault with a dangerous weapon and fleeing police. Cass County is also looking for him on charges of manufacturing controlled substances, possession of drug paraphernalia, and also fleeing. You can call your local law enforcement if you have any information on Wilkins. The man charged with killing a Minnesota corrections officer appeared before a judge for the first time today. And in the court hearing, the Washington County attorney said he is calling a grand jury to consider a first-degree murder indictment against 42-year-old Edward Johnson. Johnson is accused of killing 45-year-old officer Joe Gom.
Right now, the hardest part, I think, for all of us is it seems completely senseless. And it seems like when people ask me, I go, some people do things because they can. And that sounds glib. We haven't been able to find a motive. We've got some ideas.
The judge set unconditional bail at $1 million. Officials believe a possible theory for the attack is that it came on the 14th anniversary of Johnson losing his right eye in a fight with a fellow inmate, and he may have blamed guards for allowing that to happen. Police responded to a rollover crash in South Fargo earlier today on 7th Street South between 16th and 17th Avenues in Fargo, a few blocks from Clara Barton Elementary School. The rolled vehicle hit a Jeep parked on the corner before overturning. That Jeep then pushed into the back of another vehicle. One person was being checked for injuries after scanner traffic indicated the person was trapped inside the vehicle. An 18-year-old who admitted to police he pushed an 8-year-old boy off a 31-foot-high water slide platform had been reprimanded for doing the same thing at the same water park earlier, according to authorities. Danny Spiewak reports.
Roman Adams faces a third-degree assault charge after police say he tossed an 8-year-old off a 31-foot platform at the Apple Valley Family Aquatic Center. The criminal investigation now also reveals that Adams bit a lifeguard at the water park in mid-July. Police acknowledge that Adams has developmental disabilities and had an aide with him at the park, though not right by his side.
This is not something that you would expect to see. It's very unfortunate, very sad for both parties involved.
At the nonprofit Fraser, Jessica Inneking specializes in adult mental health. She cautions the public not to make assumptions based on this one case.
Individuals with developmental disabilities are no more likely to commit any kind of crime than the general public.
Adams told police he pushed the boy out of frustration that the line was taking too long. Although that behavior is not common, Inneking says a person with developmental disabilities may lack emotional regulation.
His brain might act a little slower than his body, so his body might have acted faster than what his brain was ready for.
After falling 2 stories, the victim is in stable condition with broken bones, but no head trauma. But police say this easily could have been deadly, and that's why Adams faces a felony assault charge.
It's difficult when we have to view someone as a possible suspect that's got some mental disabilities, but our job comes down to determining whether or not a crime took place.
Apple Valley Police told us the courts could use discretion in this case if they feel it's appropriate.
The city says it's going to review safety procedures at the Aquatic Center and report the injury to the State Department of Health as required by law. Counseling services are also available for staff who may have witnessed the injury. Minnesota Attorney General Lori Swanson is filing a lawsuit to block the release of blueprints that show how to make 3D printed plastic guns. The lawsuit will try to overturn a recent decision by the federal government to allow that online publication, which was previously banned. Swanson says the 3D printed guns cannot be traced by police, adding state and federal laws prohibit certain people from possessing guns, including felons and those with a mental illness. Minnesota joins 19 other states that filed legal charges against the ruling. A 13-year-old girl in St. Louis County, Missouri, was literally stuck between a rock and a hard place. Rescuers had to use dish soap to help free the girl, who became wedged in a rock formation at a quarry. Authorities say the girl was trapped in that crack in the rock for about 4 hours Wednesday while crews worked to get her out. The crack was more than 30 feet off the ground. Sources say 5 rescuers climbed down the face of the cliff and used an extraction tool to remove rock. The girl was treated at a hospital. This weekend, you could take a trip to Europe without leaving the FM area. The Fargo Park District is once again bringing its German Folk Fest to Rowe Farm. There will be activities for kids to enjoy, like a demonstration from a blacksmith and wood carvings. Adults can also have a good time in the beer garden, as Side Street is teaming up with Fargo Parks to bring in actual German beers to go with your authentic German food. Organizers say German Folk Fest is a great way to bring the community together to learn about a new culture.
Fargo Park District is all about recreation and improving the lives of our community. And one of the ways that we do that is through cultural activities like the German Folk Festival.
The event is free, and it's this Saturday from noon to 5 p.m.